Saints fans and Hoodats from all over the world. I'm Kyle T. Mosley here with the Saints News Network, and I have Bob Rose, my co-host, with me. How you doing, Bob?
Good morning, Kyle. Good morning, viewers. I'm doing spectacular. I hope all of you and all your families are doing the same.
Great. We have a special guest with us, none other than Coach Jim Mora Jr. And if you don't know who he is, golly, Saints fans, you got to know his lineage. His dad was coach of the New Orleans Saints. So welcome to our program, Mr. Mora. How you doing, sir?
Good. It's an honor to be with you guys and the Hoodat Nation. So fun morning.
Yeah, fun morning. So we're just going to talk to you a little bit about the Saints, the current state of the franchise, as well as what's going on with the Saints as a whole. Take it away, Bob.
Coach, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, you are a big part of New Orleans Saints history. And like you said just before we went on air, they're your team, man. You still follow them pretty closely?
I do. I follow them very closely. It's, my dad spent almost 11 years there. I spent 5 years there. My dad's still involved, doing some media stuff down there. And Sean Payton has really embraced him and, kept him close to the team. And I can tell you this, I'm a big Saints fan, but my dad's an even bigger Saints fan. He lives and dies with them every Sunday. And, it's fun to see all the success they've had. When we got there, they hadn't had a lot of success as an organization. And, he got him close. We couldn't get him that playoff win. And I know that still haunts him. But, New Orleans and all people from New Orleans are so close to our heart. That's for sure.
Yeah, and truly, I consider you guys as opening up the first truly golden era of Saints football. And as a lifelong fan myself, I cannot thank you enough for all the contributions that you, your dad certainly, and your whole family have made.
Yeah. We miss that place. And my mom, we all loved it there. We spent so long there, and it was so rare in the NFL, especially these days, to spend that much time at one team. And it just meant so much, I can tell you, to my dad. I think probably his biggest regret in his coaching career is not being able to win a playoff game there. And so when I went to Atlanta in my first year as a head coach and we won that playoff game, I think he was just overjoyed. I gave him the game ball actually after the game. I was like, hey, this is for you, man. You deserved it. You did all the work. I'm just following in your footsteps. But I can tell you, like, going into that first playoff game that I ever was coached as a head coach, was against the Rams. My dad was more nervous than me. And I think he felt like if we didn't win, that I'd be 0-7 in the playoffs instead of 0-1, and he'd be 0-7. And I said, I just remember I put on the ball, I said, we got one, and it just, it felt good. So
it's just a shame that it had to come with the hated Falcons instead of our Saints.
Well, I tell you what, one of the great coaching experiences of my life was actually a loss. I was a head coach of the Falcons when the Dome reopened, and we came down there and you felt like the entire world was cheering for your opponent. You talk about, the David and Goliath, and we were a pretty decent team. And we went out there and pregame was pretty normal. It was loud. There was a buzz in the Dome, obviously, because it was such an epic day. But then I've got the team in the locker room, and the U2 and Green Day are out on the field doing the pregame, and they're doing a song called "The Saints Are Coming." And the officials are trying to get me to bring the team out of the locker room. I'm like, we're not coming out on the field and listening to "The Saints Are Coming," but sung by U2 and Green Day. Yeah. And, we all know what transpired that day with the block punt and just the momentum. And, you hate to lose in the NFL, but you hate to lose in anything. But running off that field, I had goosebumps. I just, because I knew intimately what it meant to that city to be back. I knew what they'd gone through. Several of my friends obviously had lost everything. So much hurt in that city, so much pain and so much loss. And I knew that they lived and died with the Saints. And so running off that field, I just couldn't help but, kind of clap for the fans. And I think it was hard for some people to understand how I could feel that way, but they didn't have 11 years invested in that city and that franchise like our family did. And it's probably one of the only losses in my career that I can accept and say, you know what, it was for probably the greater good that we won. Because, as passionate as Saints fans are, had we beaten them, the Saints, that day, I don't know what would have happened in that city. I think that sounds rather dramatic to a lot of people, but you guys know how passionate people are. It's very different, very, very different.
Yeah.